I love this. One of my best friends is Plato's Republic. And it's sacred to me because of the way I described it. It has been constant, it has been trustworthy in its ability to afford reciprocal opening and grow with me as I grow. I'm reminded of another part of the Psalms where the deep calls to deep, and Plato's Republic has never failed to do that for me. Now, it doesn't mean I can just sit back and look at it. I have to participate in it. But see what I'm trying to get at? I'm trying to get at with both within and without Christianity. Again, this we can have this profound love, and we want to attribute even a sacredness to that, a holiness to it, because what we're in relationship with is constantly doing that with us.
The Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church don't quite have those issues. I get into regular conversations with respect to icons, for example.
Yes.
And so Calvin, one of the things that Calvin dealt with, the scriptures, and this is the language we use in the church, the scriptures don't come alive for you apart from the work of the Holy Spirit.
I'm wondering if there's an impersonal and personal form of finesse, and there's something below that. People have coined this term transpersonal, and they're trying to get clear about what it means. And I'm thinking that those two, they fit inside each other. I'm not quite sure which fits inside which. That's what I've been trying to gesture towards, again and again.
When I look at, so if you read Matthew, it's the kingdom of heaven, and Mark and Luke, it's the kingdom of God, and John, it's eternal life, it's a life of the age in Greek. But Paul has in Christ.
Yes.
He almost makes Christ a renix.
Yes, he does,
which is really interesting.
Yes, and I think it's parallel. Spinoza actually cites Paul trying to pick up on that, and he uses that when he makes his proposal that being in God is the fundamental ontological thing we have to get. We have to recognize, again, not just intellectually, propositionally, we have to recognize it transformatively. We have to transform so that we can come into the best possible conformity to that reality that is possible for human beings.
Right. We have to realize it.
Yes, exactly.
It is finally realization. And so, I think for Christians, Christ is, of course, that it's heaven and earth coming together. And then for the Christian, someone made a comment about, they thought I had some weird, strange name for my church. And I said, well, read first Peter 2. Read first Peter 2. Read first Peter 2.
So let me ask you a question that's both philosophical and asking as a friend. I know what Calvin might say, but I'm wondering what you say. My relationship to the Republic, would you consider that idolatrous?
No.
Right.
My relationship, there are times when I read C.S. Lewis and I think, am I thinking he should be in the Bible? And then I read other C.S. Lewis, like, I could think he isn't. So we all, we can't help but fall in love with places. I love Yosemite National Park. There's some places, Calvin College for me, I spent years on that campus. That's sacred ground for me in some ways, that I go there and it's not like other places. And it's just how we are. I don't think there's anything that we should be ashamed of. Look at Dante's Divine Comedy. Virgil. Look who his guide is.
Yeah.
So Christians, there's this weird thing where on one hand, God is a refining fire and he's holy, and you can never measure up. On the other hand, God is enormously generous, and so God's perfection in the Father's perfection in the Sermon on the Mount. He sends the rain to fall on the fields of the just and the unjust.
Yes.
And be perfect. And that's so often I'd hear in Protestantism that be perfect was always in this peculiar, narrow, rigid. But then, well, why don't you actually look at the text?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
This radical generosity, which to me again is what the central moment of Christianity. Incarnation, crucifixion, resurrection, ascension. It's all one drama. But at the center is someone who is being brutalized by his creation. And he says on the cross, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. And so even in the relationship between the Son and the Father, there's this dialogue. And the relationship between the Son and the Father, there's this dialogue. And the relationship between the Son and the Father, there's this dialogue. And